All right, gentlemen, these are the actual words that make sex happen. These are the words that flip that switch in a woman's mind, and what I'm about to show you here, I have never shared publicly before. So this is one of those questions that I do get a lot. Hey Jesse, are there any words that'll actually get me laid? Like just straight up magic words that you can say to a girl and boom, she's into you. Well, yes, my friend, yes, there are. There are magic words that you can use. Magic words that I personally use myself. Words that sex the girl up, that flip that emotional switch in her mind. Because the right words, said at the right time, will bypass all of her logic and go straight to her primal, sexual, emotional brain. And in this video right here, I'm gonna give you different types of words and phrases I've used over and over again, each one having its own unique effect, each one tested in the field to take a normal, boring conversation and to flip it into something electric, to flip it into something sexual. And I'm gonna show you how to do that without looking needy, without creeping the girl out, and without saying anything to her that she could possibly push back on. And this very last one, the one I'm gonna reveal at the end of this video, is one of my personal favorites. And I've never seen any other dating coach ever teach this. And look, these have been all field tested by me over the last 20 years and by hundreds of my clients. Like Jason, guy in his mid-40s, just a regular dude, and he used these to get a beautiful 26-year-old woman blowing up his phone because he didn't go with the usual boring small talk. Instead, he bypassed all the tired, illogical interactions she's bored of, and he used the right words at the right time to shift her state right there in the moment. So if you've ever found yourself tongue-tied around a beautiful woman that you've always wanted, or if you've ever walked away kicking yourself because you didn't know what to say next to her, or you're just too damn nice and too damn boring, in this video, gentlemen, I'm gonna break down the exact phrases and give you examples that you can start using immediately of words that are gonna fly underneath her radar, slip past all of her defenses, and get you laid. Now, before we get into the actual words of what you want to say, I do want to touch on the concept of giving a woman compliments, because you do need to understand something first. Most guys are under this misunderstanding that giving a woman compliments will somehow unlock her desire. That if you tell her that she's beautiful, that she's just going to melt there on the spot. Or if you say something nice to her, that's going to make her want you. That compliments are somehow this initial gateway to having sex with her. And we men tend to think that because that's exactly what we as men would want to get from a woman. We would want to get compliments from her. But the way that most men use compliments, it is a flat out attraction repellent to most women. Because what most men don't even realize is this. When you lead that interaction by giving her compliments, when you toss out to her, you're so beautiful, you're sexy, you're so cute, and you do that too soon and too easily, what you're doing is you're giving your power away. You're putting that girl up on a pedestal. You're essentially telling her, girl, you've already won. You don't even need to try anymore because I'm already sold. And the moment the woman feels that, she's going to lose interest in you. Why? Because there's no mystery in it for her anymore. There's no chase in it for her anymore. There's no more emotional tension there anymore. There's no sparkle because she's already got you. And gentlemen, this is the second thing you have to understand when it comes to these magic words. Tension. Tension is the key. When it comes to getting yourself laid, the real secret isn't about saying the nicest thing to the girl or giving her a bunch of compliments. The secret is tension. Tension is what's going to pull that woman in. That's what makes her mind race. Tension is what makes her body feel all tingly inside. And interactional tension is what happens when you are unpredictable, when you tease her, when you challenge her, when you don't just agree with everything she says, but instead you make her work for your attention and make her work for your approval. Where you make her wonder what you really think of her. And here's the critical mistake that almost every guy makes. Every word coming out of his mouth, what it does is it kills all the tension. Everything that he's saying neutralizes all that electric energy between himself and the woman. So guys will tell women, you're so nice, you're sweet, you're beautiful, and that is too harmless. It's too predictable. It's totally forgettable. Or they ask her too many questions. Oh, where are you from? Oh, you're from California? That's cool. What do you like to do in California? Oh, nice. Do you like it there? And there's simply no spark in the conversation. The conversation has no edge to it. There's no sense of sexual polarity between the man and the woman. And that does not build tension. That does not get the girl imagining what you're going to be like in bed. So instead, in terms of words that are going to get you laid, you want to start thinking in terms of tension here. From how can I show her that I'm interested to how can I create tension with her? How can I create friction with her? How can I increase that heat between the two of us? All right, so let's get into the first kind of words that are going to get you laid, gentlemen. So we already know that being overly nice and overly polite and overly agreeable and complimentary, saying things like, you're so nice, you're so sweet, you seem super smart, that sort of stuff does not build attraction, okay? Safe does not equal sexy. So here's what you want to do instead. You want to start dropping words about her that build tension. You want to start dropping tension-building words. Start dropping words that have a little bit of bite to them. Words that have a little bit of an edge to them. Adjectives like she's feisty, she's mischievous, she's trouble, she's naughty, she's crazy, she's adventurous, she's spontaneous. And these little words here, these adjectives describing her, what they do is they shift the vibe. They flip the energy from, oh, he's this really nice guy saying these nice things to me, to, wait, what is happening here? This guy feels different to me. So instead of saying something to her like, oh, you like watching Disney movies? I like watching Disney movies too. Instead, you might say to her, oh my God, you like to watch old school Disney movies? Damn girl, you are trouble. What am I gonna do with you? You are a naughty, naughty, naughty girl. Do you see the difference there? You're not complimenting her. You're not looking for commonalities. Instead, you're teasing her with the words. You're calling her trouble. You're calling her naughty. Or imagine that she tells you that she's a lawyer. Now, most guys, what they're going to say is, oh, you're a lawyer. Okay, you must be really smart then. But for you, what you're going to do is you're going to smile. You're going to look her in the eye, and you might say to her, okay, you're a lawyer. Yeah, I can just picture you there at work, bossing people around, not taking smack from anybody. You probably have like whips and chains hidden in your office, don't you? Do I need to be scared of you? Now, notice what just happened there. You went from this boring, complimentary small talk of looking for commonalities to sexual play. But sexual play that's not explicit. And that's the trick, guys. You still want to be lighthearted. You want to be playful. Underneath it all, you're triggering her imagination and you are putting these visuals into her head, but not being sexually explicit. It is still playful. So I'm going to give you a quick story to illustrate. One of my students, his name's Tom, pretty shy guy, mid-30s. He was chatting up this girl at a bookstore, and she mentioned that she liked reading these dark romance novels. Now, most guys, what they're going to do is say something complimentary or look for commonalities, saying something like, oh, cool, I like to read too. But Tom does it differently. What he did is he leaned in and he said to her, oh, okay, dark romance? Okay, so that tells me everything I need to know about you. You are into dangerous things, aren't you? You don't want to live happily ever after. Instead, you want to meet a man who makes you feel something. And she laughed and she blushed, and the two of them ended up going on an instant date right there. Why? Because he created tension using tension-building words. He didn't validate her, he didn't flatter her with compliments, but instead he provoked her in the right way. So here's the bottom line, gentlemen. When you want to flip that interaction, flip that conversation from friendly to flirty, do not play it safe. Do not just use words to try to smooth everything over, but instead use words that build tension. Use words that spark tension. And that's the key, guys. Tension building words where you tease the girl, you challenge the girl, and you playfully poke the girl. All right, gentlemen, let's talk about the second type of word that's going to get you laid. And that second type of word is sexual innuendo. Sexual innuendo. Guys, sexual innuendo, when it's done right, is an extremely powerful tool. Sexual innuendo is when you say something that sounds innocent on the surface, but it has a second meaning underneath. It has a sexual meaning underneath. So I'll give you a quick example of what sexual innuendo might look like. She might say to you, well, I like to get my work done quickly so I can get home early. And you lean in and you say to her, oh, okay, I bet you like a lot of things fast. Although sometimes it's more fun to take your time and go real slow. And you're gonna say that with a little smirk on your face in a subtle tone that says to the girl, yeah, I know exactly what I'm saying here. What are you gonna do about it? Or she might say to you, for example, wow, that's a big plate of food you got there. Well, you might look her in the eye and smile and tell her, yeah, girl, I can tell that you can't resist big things, can you? You can't take your eyes off a big thing. Now, notice exactly what you're doing here. You're not saying anything explicit. You're not talking about sex directly, but you are making her mind go to that place. So anytime that the girl uses a word like big or hard or wet or fast or slow or long, you can twist it. Now you can flip it and you can ride that double meaning all the way into her imagination. Now, instead of using sexual innuendo on just keywords like big or long or hard or strong, you can also take anything mundane or boring or common that the woman says and turn it using sexual innuendo. So for example, if she says to you, okay, Bob, tell me something interesting about yourself. Well, you might tell her, all right, well, look, I'm going to use my tongue here to articulate something deeply fascinating about myself. You promise you won't get too excited to hear my story? Or if she says something rather mundane and boring, like she tells you, okay, Bob, I really need to finish this novel of mine, you might hit her with, okay, well, I'm just kind of wondering what the climax is going to be like. Is it going to be this huge, passionate explosion where you say it slow and you just let the words hang and give her that cocky smile? And here's the best part about sexual innuendo. Sexual innuendo also builds tension, specifically sexual tension, but it does it with plausible deniability, where she knows what you're doing, you know what you're doing, but you can always play it off like you are totally innocent. Like, for example, if she ever calls you out for using sexual innuendo, you can just tell her, what? I'm just talking about the climax of your story. What did you think I was saying? Ah, girl, you got a dirty mind. You are trouble. You are naughty. And look, if the girl kind of likes you and she's feeling the whole vibe, sexual innuendo, what it does is it gives the girl the opportunity. It gives her the chance to escalate things along as well. So I was out with this woman at a wine bar and we were chatting about her hobbies at one point, and she said to me, you know, Jesse, I've really been into yoga lately. And I said to her, oh yeah, yoga. So you must be really flexible then. You know, flexibility, that's a very useful skill to have. And she blushed, she bit her lip, and you could feel the sparks light up right there. So sexual innuendo, what it does is it plants a seed in her mind. And then you just let her imagination do the rest of the work for you. And now you're no longer that harmless, forgettable, nice guy, but now you're the guy that makes her feel something. You're making her feel tension. Specifically in the case of sexual innuendo, you're making her feel sexual tension. All right, so if you're starting to realize just how powerful a few carefully chosen words can actually be, imagine what happens when you have an entire system behind you, not just of clever lines, but a proven neuro-based process for flipping the script in your love life completely. Look, if you're a man over 30 and you're tired of guessing and you're tired of wasting time and you're tired of feeling like a nice guy who's always getting overlooked, then it's time to stop dabbling and it's time to get serious about getting some results. And that's exactly what you'll get when you work with me personally inside of my one-on-one coaching program right here at youngerpartner.com. And this isn't therapy. This isn't pickup lines. This is straight up get you an amazing girlfriend in just a couple of weeks. I use something called visual neural programming, which is a powerful, unique system that reprograms how you see, reprograms how you think, and how you act around women. So attraction with these younger, beautiful girls you really want becomes automatic. Men that I've coached have gone from getting years of rejection to now sleeping with younger, beautiful women in just a matter of weeks. And I will not take you on unless I feel like I can at least 10x the results you're getting right now. So if you're ready to take action and you're done meeting fat chicks and crazy chicks online, head on over right here to youngerpartner.com right now and apply for the program. Because gentlemen, spots are limited and this is the best way to work with me one-on-one. All right, gentlemen, this next one's a killer and I'm saving the very best for last. And yes, this is gonna get you laid too. So listen up. This is a way to sexualize the conversation without sounding desperate, without sounding try hard, and that's to use what I call body parts shock humor. I'm gonna say that again, guys. Body parts shock humor. This is where you're gonna say something unexpected, something a little bit outrageous, something that instantly flips the vibe from friendly, boring conversation to something that's flirty and unfiltered. Body parts shock humor, what it does is it's gonna get the girl laughing, it's gonna put sex on her mind, but at the same time, it keeps it light, it keeps it playful, where it's almost accidentally sexual. So an example of this, you might say to her, you know what I hate the most? And she goes, what's that? What do you hate? You say to her, well, you know those vaginas with too much lips? Those big lippy vaginas? You know what I mean. They look like a box of cow tongues, like a vagina that looks like a high school theater curtain that's about to fall on you in mid-scene. Like you feel like you're just gonna get stuck in there. Or you might say to her, you know what really bothers me? And she's like, what's that? Well, all of these girls chasing after me. You know, they're only interested in one thing. I mean, come on. I want to be appreciated for who I am on the inside, not my huge, enormous, throbbing penis. Come on, look, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to turn you on. I don't want you to start picturing it right now. That would be totally inappropriate. Or as another example of body parts shock humor, you might ask her, have you ever dated a guy with like super hairy arms? And then you follow that up with more absurd questions. Like, okay, look, he's got hairy arms, but what if he was rich? Okay, he's still hairy, like Chewbacca level hairy arms, but he's loaded. He's got more money than he knows what to do with. All right, well, look, what if he had really hairy arms like Chewbacca, but he was rich, but he also had a really, really small wanker? Then what would you do? Would you date him? So this body parts shock humor, what it does is it gets the girl laughing, it breaks through those polite barriers, but it also introduces tension. And we talked about how tension is key, gentlemen. And it also introduces sex into the conversation, but without forcing it. So body parts shock humor, when it does right, that is gonna help get you laid. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, gentlemen, you absolutely have to watch this one next. Is a 30-year age gap possible? Are you 20, 30 years older than the girl you got your eye on? Are you in your 40s, 50s, and 60s and you want to date women in their 20s and their 30s? Well, yes, it is possible. These are 4 psychological triggers that literally addict younger women to older men. If you can learn these 4 psychological triggers, it's like pressing buttons will automatically make that girl feel attraction for you, feel sexual tension for you, and want to go on a date with you and go back to your place. So go watch it right now, gentlemen.